All right, quiet. Here we go.
PSL 45, 532, scene 24, take 2.
They've been large in China and Manchuria. Also, not sufficient attention have been paid in training to overseas operations.
What happened to Japanese naval aviation during the war?
We lost one naval air force at Midway to the United States Carrier Task Force strikes. We lost another and many replacements in the long battle for the Solomons, which started with Guadalcanal. Then, in the first Philippines Sea Battle, and in the task force strikes on Formosa and the Philippines, we suffered heavy losses. The absolute remnant of our force were finally lost in the battle for Leyte Gulf. We don't have the time to build new air force because your task forces moved forward so fast, and we didn't have adequate fuel for training because few tankers remained. The loss of tankers by your submarine attacks to a large extent prevented proper training of our aviators.
Admiral, where did the kamikaze units fit into your plans?
As a futile last resort, it was decided to use special attack or kamikaze corps to defend our homeland and to attempt to stop the invasion of Okinawa.
Roll 13, PSL 45, 532, scene 25, take 1.
In your opinion, how important was Japanese naval air power to Japan?
Japanese naval air was a decisive element in early operations. Also, not sufficient attention has been paid in training to overseas operations.
What happened to Japanese naval aviation during the war?
Okay, cut.
PSL 45, 532, scene 26, take 4.
As Chief of Staff of the 4th Fleet, which operated in the Truk area, you are in a position to tell us about the Carrier Task Force attacks in February and April 1944.
Yes, I am. I have few notes with me.
Please tell me the results and effects of these attacks.
Well, the first attack lasted for 2 days and came at a time when we had many supply ships and particularly tankers in the harbor. Also, there were many planes on the airfield waiting to be transferred to Naval. Consequently, the damage was terrible. Of our airplanes, the task force destroyed a total of 235, both in the air fighting and on the ground. All of the naval ships in the harbor were sunk, consisting of 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 2 auxiliary vessels. The merchant ships, which were sunk, totaled 31 of very great damage, both terrible. It was perfectly obvious from these attacks the track could no longer be used as a naval base, and this in turn forced the withdrawal of any further support to Naval. The next attack at the end of April was also very bad in its effects, but fortunately we had fewer planes there at the time. However, the task forces destroyed 93 airplanes, but principally this time they destroyed our base installations such as food stores, clothes, ammunition, and so forth. Because of this, track now lost all value as a supply depot and as an air base.
Good. Very good. Forward.
Vice Admiral Yano, Imperial Japanese Navy, Chief of Staff, 4th Fleet, back left, row 14, PSL 45532, scene 27, take 3.
As Chief of Staff of the 4th Fleet, which operated in the Truk area, you were in a position to tell us about the Carrier Task Force attacks in April and February 1944.
Yes, I am. I have few notes with me.
Please tell me the results and effects of these attacks.
Well, the first attack lasted for 2 days and came at a time when we had many supply ships and particularly tankers in the harbor. Also, there were many planes on the airfield waiting to be transferred to Naval. Consequently, the damage was terrible. Of our airplanes, the task forces destroyed a total of 235, both in air fighting and on the ground. All of the naval ships in the harbor were sunk, consisting of 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 2 auxiliary vessels. The merchant ships which were sunk totaled 31 of very great damage. It was terrible. It was perfectly obvious from these attacks that Truk could no longer be used as a naval base, and this in turn forced the withdrawal of any further support to Naval. The next attack at the end of April was also very bad in its effect, but fortunately we had fewer planes there at the time. However, the task forces destroyed 93 airplanes, but principally this time they destroyed our base installations such as food stores, clothes, ammunition, etc. Because of this, Truk now lost all value as a supply depot and as an air base.
Good.